All right, I forgot I shortened up the intro there, so I gotta react faster. I was just gonna say to John, that's funny because my parents actually ended up meeting in Okinawa, Japan. So they're the whole reason I'm around. And again, I was born in Pensacola, so small world, isn't it? Small world. Congratulations, though. All right, we got a lot to go over today, guys. Lots of stuff happening today. We got the CNN Fear and Greed Index still hovering around 59, very close to neutral. I love this. I love that we're so far away from extreme greed and that we're, if anything else, close to neutral right now. Crypto is still sitting at 77. We've got earnings, lots of earnings. I'll be covering Hood. We'll get the data in approximately 20 minutes, and then the call is an hour later. We also have Coinbase. We have ADP, which we got economic data for today, and it looked good. We've got Meta. We got Microsoft. Microsoft voting on whether or not to buy Bitcoin. Very fascinating. Microstrategy, Riot, Starbucks, and a whole bunch more. So it's going to be a very busy earnings day today. Lots going on. We'll try and keep an eye on all of that. We have a couple of videos I want to watch talking about just, again, rotation and what you should be invested in regard to sectors and the type of investments you should be in. There's a couple of videos I want to see. Again, we had a lot of data today. Tomorrow we get a ton too. We got challenger job, we got personal income spending, employment stuff, jobless claims, PCE price index, Chicago PMI. We got a lot of stuff tomorrow. But today, really most notable, I mean, the home stuff. And we were up 2.6% when it was forecast at negative 1.5. Not too much of a change there. We're seeing, we saw GDP growth rate coming in low, but really the price index and PCE prices looked good. They were really low. We like that because it means inflation isn't a big concern in these areas. And then GDP sales quarter over quarter were up. So again, we're seeing a discount in prices. We're seeing sales up. And again, PCE prices quarter over quarter came in lower than expected too. So the data was actually really good today, despite the 30-year mortgage rate going up 0.21%. But again, I think it's right near the top, so it's all good. But that was the economic data for the day. Didn't really see much of a shift in the bond market. Again, November is 94.7% for one rate cut, and then December is almost 72%. So it still looks like that's pretty much the same and hasn't changed. Let's just look at my notes here. Again, lots going on. We got SoFi outperforming today. SoFi up 7.4%. Again, we still got about 18 minutes left before the bell, but that looks pretty good from the SoFi side of things. We've got, let me see here, Bitcoin. I'm wondering if Bitcoin's going to pause up until the election. But again, if Microsoft votes to buy Bitcoin, if the shareholders vote to buy Bitcoin, I think that will be a substantial breakout good news event. And then the election would just be icing on the cake. So that's going to be fascinating. Oil up 2.13%, trying to get some life in it. Not quite sure why. Ethereum maybe breaking out. It's up 1% today when Bitcoin's down 1% and Solana's down 2.6. The technical pattern looks good. And again, we've got buybacks and seasonality at our backs in regard to the election, just everything. So it's going to be a very, very, very interesting day. Let's just take a look here at the heat map, see how we're doing today. I'll try and get caught up on comments. Silas says, hello. Chris DeSantis, love hearing the music. Bart, hey man, let's go Hood. Yes, sir. BGZ, Microstrategy. Microstrategy got walloped. But again, they've got earnings today, and I'm actually wondering, are they selling today? Are they actually selling? So if we look at Microstrategy, we look over here at the tracker, and what are we at? 2.75, looking more reasonable, not quite at 3, so that's good. But again, maybe even still a little hot. I did buy a couple of, about like $23,000 or $22,000 worth of MSTU, a little bit higher on the day, so it's going down a little bit more. I might buy more if it keeps going down. If we get a really big, like, if he brings this thing down close to the low 2s for the multiplier, for the NAV, I will buy a lot of MSTU if that ends up happening. So I will purchase a whole bunch. But yeah, today, let's just look here. Let's go over. So we got the heat map. Eli Lilly getting butchered. A bunch of retail trade taking a hit. Amazon doing well. NVIDIA down 1%. Apple down 1.31. The entirety. SMCI, I don't even know where that ended up today. Let me hop over here. I'll pull up Tesla, but I'll pull up SMCI real quick. Tesla flat on the day. I love seeing that. Again, this is a great point to be able to launch. I think that's coming very, very soon. But let's just look here at SMCI. SMCI had their auditor basically step away and issue a scathing statement saying that we don't trust this company. And again, I think it can go down. We could go down to 26 or even 23 pretty easily. And then there's a chance that we can go back to single digits again. It could happen. So the measured move here, if this is a head and shoulders, could make it even worse. We'll see whether or not that happens. Whoops. But yeah, it's a wild day. Reddit up 45%. I think Reddit is absolute trash. I would not invest in that based on principles alone. But congrats to anybody that made money on that shit. All right. Value Maxi, Celsius, Mike Alfred just initiated a starter position. Good for Mike Alfred. How are they doing? Let's see here. Have they just been still getting slaughtered? I don't really drink this. I did warn people about it. I don't know, man. You kind of want to see this thing grind here for a while and show its resilience and preferably be above this peak volume, because the only other peak is down here in the $1.50s. So you're still down, what? 69% is such a huge number to be down. Feel bad for people that did miss this double top. I saw it. I didn't miss it. All right. Let's take a look over here real quick. I'll look at that, though, super fast. Let's see, 246. So I probably better get Robinhood down in the corner here, too. I'll do that in a second, right after this, right after looking up Celsius here. That way we feel good there. Oh, Cam Prague, hi. Only woke mega cap company green today. Google, erg. Well, I mean, we got a lot of other mega caps coming. They're pretty woke too, but they should be doing all right. So Celsius, 30 forward PE. I mean, getting better. It's getting better. If it got into the 20s, I feel like, I don't know. I don't blame Mike Alfred for taking a look here. But again, this quarter doesn't look great. I would feel I could wait another 30 days just to see how this thing does before I purchased anything. And I probably won't, just because I don't know the product. And when I don't know the product, I don't use it. I don't buy it. It's just how it works. I like to know. I like to experience the things I'm invested in. Got my chai latte order in. Love this stuff so much. All right. Anyway, yeah, let's get a little Robinhood up in here. We're going to get that down in the bottom corner, everybody, because we got the hood up in the house today. And I'm excited about this one. More excited than I am about PayPal, even though I thought PayPal was pretty much a ringer. Turned out not to be true. Not this quarter. But I do think next quarter it will be. I'm optimistic. I still got over 500,000 in it, even though I think it's down 2+% today. So, again, hood is just waiting to break out. Let me drag this down real quick. I want to show SoFi too, guys. SoFi is interesting. From a technical standpoint, I think we're just right at the edge of trying to break out again on SoFi. And I posted about it, members-only subscriber stuff earlier. But I think that's going to be really good too. All right, let me just stretch this out. Move this over here. Get us going on the 4-hour chart here for hood. Maybe move this over to expand this. Yeah, there we go. That's probably pretty good. All right, let me get this up on the screen. Sorry, should have thought about this earlier. Doesn't take too long, though. Hood, boom. All right, we got some hood. We got some hood up in here. This actually looks pretty bullish. Again, this is kind of a precursor of what was coming. You can barely see it. It's a little wick right there, right over here. And then again, we're just beating up against that .618 retracement zone wall, just looking to break out. Let's look at SoFi, though, guys. This is a fun one today. So SoFi, look at that recovery. Look at how it tested up against the 1 fib line, retraced underneath of it. It is just readying for a breakout. Again, I'm saying 25 to 33% more upside before we really start to hurt. This was a subscriber-only post I did earlier. That gets us up near the 80s for the weekly RSI, by far the highest RSI already that we've ever had on the weekly time frame. But that'll get pretty rich. And I think we're not overbought on the monthly because there's just so much time for that. But the weekly, being in the 80s on the weekly is usually a sign that you're coming near the end of something. And you know how we know that? We use Palantir as an example. So still got 10 minutes roughly until we find out more. But I think the CEO or somebody was dumping on the stock again today, down 2.58%. Do you think it's a coincidence that this thing shitted right at the previous high, right where I said there was major resistance going up to 50? I don't think so. So again, when you're really, really overbought, guys, like on large time frames, this is the monthly on this one. It is at $77 almost on the monthly time frame. What does the weekly look like? The weekly was a double top on the RSI that puts us near 80. So again, 80 on a weekly RSI, not a great number if you want to see upside price action. I'm just going to say it. I really like Celsius. It's better for your health than Monster or Red Bull. Is it really though, Soaring Shitty? Is it really? It tastes quite good, but when it comes to health, it isn't a wise choice. So one person's like, it's not healthy. The other person's like, it's better for you. I mean, if you compare it to Monster or Red Bull, I guess anything is better for you. And then Town 963, today I was told the only reason Bitcoin has been going up lately is because of odds on Trump is decreasing. That person sounds like a moron. Soaring Shitty, I randomly took 3 last week and all of them were nice. Sins Shansley, not a credible source or anything, just thought I would share. I hope this is some AI stunt. I didn't see what your post was. What did he say? Shansley. I didn't see your original post, bro. So I don't know whether it's credible or not. I don't know. Anybody tell me? Is it credible? I don't know. All right, so we got Hood down in the bottom of the screen. Let's see, do I have time for a video? I want to watch one video. I want to watch a video. So again, this is investors should shift their focus to areas of the market that have lagged, says Emerald's Sears.
Next guests have...
It's a lot of weird words at the end.
I think a little bit different opinions of what's going on really with
that's why we have the next guest.
Crack is not good for anybody, Justin. Cocaine is a better choice if you're going to be doing the powders. But I don't even know if you can get that stuff anymore. I'm too old. Can't handle it.
Why we have them. Let's drill down, as they say, on the data and the message here.
It's probably all fentanyl, right? Oh, hey, I got a new mug. Anybody see that? Inmate number legend. Yay. Got another cool mug coming too.
Does the economy remain resilient? Our next guest is shifting her focus from the mega caps to the small caps. Stacey Sears is here. She's a portfolio manager at Emerald Asset Management. We're also...
Graphic Investor says, big mistake selling Hood calls, tired of rolling them. Yeah, you're probably going to miss out on some gains, I think. I think so. Value Maxi says, I have a bit of January 2025 options left on SoFi, down 41%. Oh, wow, you must have some old school ones. Wondering if I should cut and run or see if I can make it. It depends on what your target is. If it's unrealistic, you might want to cut and run, especially as we go up. If we get that leg up to the 30s, I would get the fuck out.
Joined by CNBC contributor Peter Bookvar. Right. Welcome to both of you. Stacey, so you're largely feeling sanguine, pretty upbeat about things?
To be clear, not 30. I was tripping on that price real quick. I just wanted to be clear. So if we get up to like 1350 in short order, I would get out. We could go to 15, but I don't know, man. Again, we're going to be hitting resistance. So just be smart.
Correct. Where we sit today, small caps have actually been an area of underperformance in the marketplace.
Yeah, let us charge to 1350, maybe. Again, not financial advice, and then go bye-bye.
Russell 2000.
I wouldn't wait for 15. I mean, it can get there, but I don't know.
The average annualized return over the last 3 years has been under 2%, historically very low. And you're looking at a Russell 2000 index overall that's still sitting below its November 2021 peak.
And you love it.
And we think valuations, because of that, have gotten extraordinarily attractive. It doesn't matter how you look at it, whether you're looking at it relative to Russell 1000, whether
So it looks like other people are getting on Tom Lee's small cap train.
you're looking at it to the S&P, we're looking at double-digit discounts, historical relative valuations.
Do you have an Etsy shop, Frank? John Frank? I'm not. I don't actually ever pay attention to it.
Forward PE, trailing PE, price to book, price to cash flow.
And that, Peter, might be an interesting place to bring you in because for lack of a better term, the optimist might say, hey, this is a great entry point. The glass half full point of view might be, hey, there's a reason why.
CNN is really trying to be credible before before Trump wins, I think. They've changed their tone significantly.
We're seeing things trading for these discounts.
Well, I agree with Stacey that if you're looking for value in the market, that's the place to get it. But you're right. And when you have a higher interest rate environment that we're in, who's most exposed to it in terms of their balance sheet and interest expense and floating rate debt, it's those type of companies.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it can separate the strong from the weak. If you can get through this economic environment in terms of your financing costs and so on, you can get through anything, and particularly relative to your customers. So we particularly like some of the bigger, some of the smaller companies that can consolidate a fragmented industry where the mom and pops don't do so well, but the stronger.
Walter Bryan says, I ain't switching to laggers, BTC, Tesla, and MSTR until the cycle ends. So you're not switching from Bitcoin, Tesla, and MicroStrategy? If that's what you're saying, I mean, I think that makes sense. But I also don't totally know the context of what you're trying to say. So, I don't know. Jesse, any thoughts on MSTX now that it also is 2x, just like MSTU? Oh, did they change MSTX to 2x too? That's funny. Is the expense ratio better? Because I know MSTU had a better expense ratio. I haven't looked at volume anymore. I'm in MSTU. I bought like 23,000 today.
Companies can actually take advantage.
No, we're not doing MicroStrategy. That's probably the most boring call. You've got Microsoft doing a vote on Bitcoin, and we're going to be doing Hood. Hood's probably the most interesting today, in my opinion. Plus, I have like 200,000 in calls.
I teased a mystery chart earlier on that you said, look, don't overlook this one in the marketplace today. What is
That sounds like a plan, BGZ. That's kind of what I'm thinking too, man.
it, and why are you focused on it?
So CDW, as a tell on tech spending in the aggregate, to me is a very important company to watch every quarter when they report earnings. They have 250,000 customers. They have $20 billion
3.5 minutes
of
till
revenue,
we get
touching
potentially
everything from
some
the
earnings
PC to the
data
smartphone
from
to
Robinhood.
hardware, software, and so on and so on. And the stock's down 10% today.
Wow.
They talked about, I have to
Yeah,
go through the earnings
MSTU is
release.
better than
I'm sorry,
Gino.
the earnings
Yeah, you're
transcript
right.
that went through the release.
Thank you.
Talking about sluggish trends and elongated decision making.
Yeah, the Microsoft vote is today. Yeah, they're voting right now. And it's earnings day too, so we should find out in the earnings call. I probably won't participate, but we'll know.
Maybe that's related to the election, whatever.
Robert says, how are the elections going, Jesse? So how is the mood of the people in the U.S. around you? I felt last time. So it's really, really good if you like Trump. If you don't like Trump, then it sucks. Right now, I think earlier today I posted that Biden at this time in history was 7.9. But now it's lowered to 7.5. But Trump is still winning by 8 points versus what he was 4 years ago against Biden. So that's just a huge difference, a huge advantage. And then also, too, Morning Consult and Bloomberg, I talk about these all the time. They're the most biased on the left. They're like the worst because they're all owned by Michael Bloomberg. So you can take these out, and then that just raises the lead for Trump. Trump winning the popular vote for Republicans, that's like the first time that's happened in over 20 years. There's so much early polling data that just looks amazing, honestly. It looks really, really good for Republicans, for the House, the Senate, and the presidency.
Because the point is that everything around AI is doing great. Anything that feeds into that spending ecosystem is doing great. However,
Harris
everything
supporters are
around
way
that, whether
behind.
it's PCs, smartphones, or other things, is much softer. And when you look at capital spending in the aggregate, it's sort of flattish.
Less than 2
because that
minutes and the bell
capital spending pie is not
closes.
expanding. The AI spend is just taking from existing slices.
Stacey, what would you add to that?
So I think what I would add to that is that, I agree with Peter. We've been in an inventory correction in the semiconductor marketplace for the better part of the last 24 months. So all of those areas that he has addressed, we've been correcting the excesses from an inventory perspective. So I think where the capital budgets sit today and how corporates are looking at forward expenditures, the one thing that we're seeing is that we were expecting a PC upgrade cycle to actually start about now into 2025.
Yeah, I can see that.
It seems as if the Windows 10 security patch may have enabled some of those corporates to extend that cycle a little bit.
It's interesting you say this because we keep hearing about how the Apple PC is not selling the way that we thought it would. I mean, across the board, it seems like there's weakness in this category.
It's absolutely true. So I think we're in a place where we're seeing a delayed upgrade cycle on the enterprise. We've seen actually positive signs on the consumer.
I could see a lot of upgrade cycles coming, a lot. Hood is only up 0.66% right now, so it sold off a little bit into the day. I think this looks like almost like a mini bull flag, though.
Upgrade cycle.
We get good data from Hood, and we're going to blow the top.
From a replacement perspective, but I think we're in a delayed upgrade.
Oh, dude, I want a studio gym. New MacBook Pro 16-inch with an M4 Max was released today. I think I've got the M3 Pro or M3 Pro Max, whatever. It's like the highest one of the last one. I think it's that same thing. It's just not the 4. I want a studio version of the M4, like ultra badass one. I would love that. I would love that.
Upgrade cycle from an enterprise perspective as they try to map out not only what they're doing from a top-down corporate budget perspective, but how that fits into their AI strategy.
I heard that, $500
and how they're looking
wow.
at the rest of their budget.
Okay, so we got Sebastian Frost said, hey, Jesse, I watched your miners option video, but wanted your opinion on a March $20 CLSK call. Have enough open interest in volume. Had 255 volume today. Open interest is 68.75. It sounds like it's pretty high, and just look at it compared to the rest of the tree. If it's way higher, that's good. Let me just go over here real quick. We're going to go back. We're going to listen to the bell ring.
All right, so we shall see.
Let me know if you guys see anything on Hood. I'm going to try and pull up here. See if they got their data.
Anything positive on the NAS would be a new high. Not going to get it. We'll see if Meta and
Don't show any links yet.
change that. I'll send it over time.
I don't know exactly when it's going to pop, so I'm gonna pull over. You guys let me know if you hear anything on Hood.
Of regulation, Perimeter Solutions
I'm gonna keep an eye out
New
here
York Stock
too.
Exchange. Cardlytics doing the honors.
Gold hit
at the NASDAQ.
$2,800 for the first time in
markets
history.
Netting out to a slightly lower finish, with the NASDAQ seeing some pressure in the final minutes as attention now turns to a slew of major earnings coming in just a few moments. That is the scorecard on Wall Street, but winners stay late. Welcome to Closing Bell Overtime. I'm John Fort with Morgan Brennan.
Well, it's another crucially important hour of earnings season with results coming from Microsoft, Meta, Coinbase, DoorDash, Starbucks, and many more.
We will bring you all
be
the
a trip,
breaking headlines,
guys.
plus an exclusive interview with the CEO of Coinbase ahead of his earnings call, and a first on CNBC
Nothing yet.
conversation.
I don't know
with the Chief
how late
Financial
they usually
Officer
pull
of
it.
DoorDash before he talks to analysts. As we await those earnings,
It looks
let's
like
bring in
we see it
BDA Capital
popping a little
Partners,
bit, but I don't know if
Barbara
this is
Duran.
actual data.
Barbara, we got Meta and Microsoft, two huge ones coming just momentarily.
And Robinhood.
In particular, whether it's
The hood of the
spending
Robins.
on AI or the results of AI for Meta in things like Reels, and for Microsoft and things like percentage of Azure are gonna be
Earnings
most
can
important
be
here.
super volatile. It's a
I think
horrible
there's two
time to
different
trade
things going on,
options,
because
to
I
buy
think
or
with,
sell.
Meta,
Because
investors
open
have
interest
seen
is
they're
high.
doing a very good job in monetizing and improving their engagement using AI. They are way ahead of the curve on this.
No
They're
earnings yet for
executing very
Robinhood.
well. Microsoft has been dinged. The stock has underperformed in the last quarter or so
Oh, I got
because of
some
the
data
last
about
time they
Microsoft. What did it
reported.
say?
The Azure cloud revenue was a little disappointing, and people started to say, well, when are we going to see return on investment? Copilot doesn't seem to be going fast enough. So there's going to be two very different reports here.
Microsoft
that are, I think,
reported
are gonna be
earnings,
very company
EPS
specific.
beating
But I think the
expectations of
one thing that is
308
gonna
with
be clear
330
is the ad
revenue,
spending is gonna be
65.6
tremendous on
billion
Meta's
versus
side.
64.4. Microsoft looks good, at least at face value. Let's see if they do their Bitcoin thing, guys. Let's see.
Microsoft, given what we've seen,
$20 a share to $20 a share, and that is again adjusted EPS. Now, some of the drugs that are doing well, drugs Repatha, that's a cholesterol drug, and cancer drugs, Blincyto and Lumakras. Now, there is no Maritide data. That is the obesity drug that we are all watching. I'm not seeing anything here, but we will let you know if that changes. Back to you, John.
All right, we'll keep watching it. Now, meantime, Microsoft results are out. The stock heading a little higher here in overtime. Let's get to our Steve Kovac with those numbers. Steve.
Yeah, John, shares are up here on beats on the top and bottom lines. Let me give you EPS. That was $3.30. Street was looking for $3.10. Revenues also a slight beat here,
Everybody's a buzz about
$65.59 billion
Microsoft.
versus $64.51 billion expected.
Microstrategy.
And we will also be digging in here for the Azure numbers and some other.
MicroStrategy announced strategic goal of raising $42 billion over the next 3 years for Bitcoin. $21 billion at the market equity offering. It just announced a target of raising $21 billion using fixed income securities. Wow. They're just going to keep buying, man.
In fact, it was not just a beat, but it's a beat even versus what the estimate was for Microsoft for this quarter back at the end of June. So in other words, the modified estimates came down a little bit over the last few months, and then they beat even the prior one. So it looks healthy. Obviously, Microsoft shares did get a little bit of a bump following Alphabet's numbers, probably on some inference about the cloud business. We'll see if that gets kind of ratified in terms of the actual guidance today.
Okay. Barbara, I want to go back to you because we did just get Amgen. We did just get a beat on the top and bottom lines from Microsoft. We're waiting for a little more detail there, and certainly Azure seems to be the key number everybody's going to be watching for. But your initial reaction?
Cannot make it happen. Whatever.
Well, for Amgen and Microsoft, I think you're probably right. I mean, it's what we just chatted about in terms of the cloud.
Amgen did great,
given
by
what
the way.
Alphabet has done, it's likely that's where the improvement came from. Although we'll see. They've got new PCs out, incorporating IA. We'll see how much that contributed.
Here's
Amgen
cloud
really
revenue.
is an interesting issue. The weight loss drug is really critical for them because they have so many legacy.
All right, so Microsoft earnings, it says Microsoft cloud revenue was $38.9 billion, estimated at $38.11, so that was a beat too. Microsoft EPS was $3.30. Okay, all right, well, whatever. So cloud revenue did all right. Ooh, Hood's down. Jesus, dude, are we serious? 10%? What the fuck? Man, what a day. What a week. What is that about? All right, let's take a look. We obviously got something there. 1 second. Boo, boo, boo. Jesus. I still don't see it up over here under quarterly results. But maybe it's under another screen. Just give me a second. That sucks. Robinhood announces first. No, okay, that's not it. Where is it? Let me go to the event. Maybe it's got transcript, latest event. No. Webcast, Q&A. Huh. I still don't see it. Quarterly results. How are people getting this? Do you guys see quarterly results like a post? They had immense growth. What's going on? I don't know. They're down 11% though. They're getting walloped. And I don't know why. Here, I'm going to keep the conference call going. Can I turn it down? All right, let me see. We got an alert. Let's see if CNBC is talking about it.
$6 billion ahead of analysts' expectations of $40.3 billion, and at the high end of the range that the company gave. Now, earnings per share of $6.03 were well ahead of analysts' consensus expectations of $5.25 per share. Meta's daily active people, 3.29 billion. That is up 5%. But also
Hood miss. Robinhood Q3 2024 GAAP EPS 1.17 in line. Sales, 637 million, miss, 657. Wow, that's an incredible overreaction for that level of a miss. Let me see what I can find here. I don't know why I'm still not finding the actual earnings. What a horrible number. God, can't count on anything, not even the Hood. I blame Amit. All right, let me take a look here. Hood, ER, absolutely awful. Total revenues, 36. Okay, so here's one. I'm going to post this. Let's see what we have here. God. Sad when you make PayPal and SoFi look good right after earnings. All right. Shouldn't laugh. Probably lost a bunch of money. Oh, well. Boop, 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 boop. Still don't. Let me see if I can actually. All right, so I'm going to put this up over here. Oh, let's see. Is this DoorDash? DoorDash down. On top and bottom for DoorDash, guide on marketplace, gross order value, and adjusted EBITDA that are ahead of the street. Revenue is $2.71 billion. Let's turn this down more. Consensus EPS 38 cents versus 20 expected. 4.24 at the midpoint. DoorDash guiding to 20.8 billion in gross order value and 550 million. MSTU's getting cheaper. The song's depressing. Hey, we actually got some stuff, though. Press release, earnings presentation, supplemental. I'm going to look at the supplement or the earnings presentation. All right, let me kill this. Starbucks down. Jeez. Everything's getting wallops. Coin popping. Audio's jacked? My audio? On both X and YouTube. Why does that always happen? Let me do this. I'll just refresh my presentation. Dude, it's down 15%. Ouch. Is the sound better? I just reset Robinhood. Did that help? Here, let me. Is that better? Okay. Let me just kill this sound completely on this one until it goes live. Okay. All right, let's see how depressing this is. Thank you, Robinhood, for just utterly screwing my portfolio today. I really appreciate you. Let's see how bad it is. Funded customers, we're up. Not a bad number. Assets under custody looks great. Gold subscribers continues to grow. Net deposits in billions. So Q3, we didn't see nearly as much. But you know what? The big incentive started in Q4. So this is not very forward-looking of people because this number, the net deposits will grow quite a bit. Let's see, total revenues. So total revenues went down slightly, probably because they're, well, I don't know. We'll have to see what they say. Adjusted operating expenses was down too. Adjusted EBITDA down. Net income loss, 150 million net income. Not bad. Maintain strong product velocity. We'll let him walk through all that. MicroStrategy's getting hit. Well, I'm glad I put, you know what? That's the theme for the day. I put like $23,000 into it. So of course it's down big. That's wonderful. So let's, you know what? And I wonder, did they actually do a sale with MicroStrategy? Can you guys tell me? Let's look over at MSTR while we watch Robinhood continue to get obliterated. Let's look at MSTR. MSTR down 8% in after hours. So, yeah, wow. I'm glad I took that Robinhood money and put it in MSTU. Today is not my day. Today is not my day. Oh, well. This is all right. This is going to be okay. It's all going to be all right. We're still very early in the process here, guys. I guess I'll be buying some Hood and MSTU tomorrow, huh? Hopefully something goes up here soon. Sela said, if you think of it as a stormtrooper with a coarse throat sound, it's just fine. Right now it's doing it again? Or is it better? Oh, okay. Oh, that's so annoying. So MSTR is getting crushed. What is doing well in after hours? Is anything? Let's look at the watch list here. See how bad it is. Well, I guess I can't see. I can't really see. I'll have to do this. Let me go over here and look at extended hours and just see how badly everything is getting butchered today. Ooh, MSTU down 17%. Hood down 15%. MicroStrategy. Coinbase down 3.5%. Riot, Meta, CleanSpark, nothing. This is like nothing is good here. Nothing. There's literally nothing up. Microsoft's doing decent. Good job, Microsoft. Yeah, they actually had a beat. So they're doing, how decent is Microsoft? They're up 0.1%. Etsy killed it. Of course, the one that I didn't give a shit about. That makes sense. Microsoft's up 0.8%, so we're seeing some love for the Microsoft. And it looks like Hood's maybe found a bottom on the 200 moving average on the 4-hour. TDOC is up, of course. Teladoc, of all things. Awesome. All right, let's go back to this presentation here. Where is it? It's over there. Winning the active trader, Robinhood Legend, index options, products increasing, whatever. I just want to see what's happening on the call. Sailor, 42 billion market does not understand the significance of this. Yeah, you're right. It'll be a good thing for MSTR, but they don't get it. Funded customers increased by 1 million year over year to 24.3 million in Q. It was just really the lack of revenue, and I wonder if it was just from acquiring customers. I just need to get justification on the expenses. Retirement accounts, those look beautiful. Retirement AUC, assets under custody, looks great. It's a 9x from where they were in Q3 of 2023. Cypher earnings tomorrow, yes. Yeah, MicroStrategy is getting crushed too. I think MicroStrategy's in a great position. I just don't think they like the announcement that came out today. We continue to add value to our Robinhood Gold in Q3 2024. Gold subscribers represented by 9% of funded customers. 7x assets under custody compared to our average funded customer. Our average Gold subscriber has 7 times more assets. 2x more our net deposit growth rate, and 5x retirement adoption rate. What people don't realize is this just gets better for them as time goes on. They've got a cost of acquisition that can cost them a decent amount over the short term, but then it gets better. So now we went from just under $23 a share to now closer to 25. So we're finding a base here on the fib, and we look like we're getting up near the 25.50 range, up on the 100 on the 4 hour. So that's getting better. Net deposits were $10 billion in Q3, translating to a 29% annualized growth rate, and were $39 billion over the last 12 months, translating up to 45%. I think the cost of acquisition is what's getting them. Average cumulative net deposits tend to grow over time across our funded customer cohorts, and recent cohorts' initial deposits are larger. So you could see in 2024, they're getting a lot more money on average. Yeah, I'm going to DCA. I'm going to DCA MSTU, and I'm going to DCA Hood. Should Bitcoin Man says, should I get an account at Robinhood? I need to get another account soon. One of them is about to be over 500K. I need to be some. Yeah, dude. I've got about $450,000 in assets under Robinhood right now, so I'm fond of it. I like it. We're getting closer to that 100 moving average now, guys. Robinhood's recovering a little bit, down about 10% on the day, so making some headway. Just a butchering slaughter of an afternoon, though. Not exactly what I was expecting, but, that's how it works sometimes. Sometimes you get all excited, and then you just get kicked in the nuts. And nobody likes that. Ain't nobody got time to get kicked in the nuts. But yeah, let's keep going. Q3 trading volumes increased double to triple digits year over year as we continue to gain market share. So equity notional volumes, look at that. These numbers are great. It's really just all about the revenue. Crypto notional volumes are still low. I don't think that's crazy. They don't have the best crypto portfolio. They need to fix that. Yeah, everything is down. This is true. This is no lie. You can see it over here, right? 23% on MSTU. 12% on Robinhood. Robinhood's looking better than MicroStrategy right now. MicroStrategy is just getting obliterated. I wonder, hopefully, Saylor is selling, and that's what this is all about. Hopefully that's what's happening on MicroStrategy. We'll see. Justin, Hood could always recover based off of what Vlad says. Let's be positive. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it either way. Again, I'll always just buy the dip. I'm just hoping... I already got kicked in the nuts by PayPal. Tesla was a blessing. Obviously, Tesla was wonderful. So, that's still holding my portfolio up. I'm probably under 3.4 million now with what's happening with Robinhood. I could be down to 3.3. Again, I just got to my high of 3.7 recently. So it sucks to go back a little bit. But, man, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Not a big deal. And I like buying dips. It's just I need something to go up to buy dips. That's how it works. So could something go up? Let's look at the earnings calendar again. Just see what kind of damage we have for this tomorrow. So we got Apple, Amazon, Cypher, MasterCard, and a bunch of others. Merck, Shell, a bunch of energy company stuff, Intel. We'll see how all that does. MSTU is horrible. Yes, it is. Anyone know when CleanSpark earnings are? Yes, we can figure that out. You know why? Because I've got it as a favorite on this fancy little site over here. So if I just go over to here, and then I look, I don't see it, and then I hit the next one, and then it shows me November, And then on here, we should see some clean sparks, some spurks. Looks like the site's probably updating really hard. Lots of earnings today. I'll let that grind for a minute. All right, let's go back over here while we're waiting on that. So let's just keep rolling down. Total net revenues in Q3 were up 36% year over year to $637 million, our second highest quarterly revenue ever, and ARPU was 105. So again, people just want to see the straight up growth. I don't think they like this miss, and so they're just butchering them. Transaction-based revenues were up 72% year over year to $319 million in Q3. But again, we've got 3 quarters of downside transactional revenue, and I think people got pissed about it, even though it's a massive jump from where we were at before. Let's see what took the hit. So options, wow, everybody's trading options. Equities went down a little bit. We see the crypto category got smaller. That should blow up here soon after the election. And then other just kind of sat there. Nothing too crazy. CleanSpark was November 6th. Okay. Yeah, if this ever updates, we'll figure that out. Let's see. There we go. All right, let's try next week. Come on. Come on. Come on. All right, whatever. Keep going. Net interest revenues were up 9% year over year to $274 million in Q3. So again, growth, but less than last quarter. I like the breakdowns, though. Let's see. Interest on corporate cash and investments was a big chunk. Margin interest growing. Interest on segregated cash, securities, and deposits. Cash sweep, securities and lending. Credit card net. Credit card still very small. If anything, it looks like they cut back substantially. I don't get why coin is tanking. I don't know. Jesse, third largest BTC ETF inflow today. I know, I saw that. I reposted that. That's cool. Unusual Whales posted that MicroStrategy plans on raising, the $42 billion. We know that over the next 3 years. T-Town 963, MicroStrategy announced a strategic, Probhot up 20%. Carvana's up 20%. Boy, you know the world is upside down when Carvana is up 20%. Adjusted operating expenses increased 12% year over year to $397 million. Again, that shows like that's lower than Q1 of 2024 too. I can see why the market is like hoping for more here. Share-based compensation, basic and diluted share count. We're maintaining our 2024 expense outlook of $1.85 billion to $1.95 billion. Combined adjusted operating expenses. I'm probably not going to read all that just yet. GAAP net income was $150 million in Q3 and diluted EPS was 0.17. I love that we're seeing 4 quarters of positive GAAP net income. Again, adjusted EBITDA is not bad. With over $5 billion in corporate cash and investments, we're well positioned to continue deploying capital. In Q3, $97 million to shareholders by repurchasing 5 million of our shares. All right. Not going to dig in. Wow, they do a great job breaking down metrics, though, I got to say. Down 10.74%. Funded customers up. Well, actually tied. Assets under custody up. Net deposits down. But again, we just started this new initiative in October, so we can expect that to continue to go up. Cash sweep looks good for the gold cash sweep. Equity notional volumes. Just a weak end of the quarter for all this stuff. Margin book 5.5, so that remains strong. Crypto's just low. And options and equity volumes just kind of died off into the quarter. July, August, September, they just got bored. Monthly active users was down, but again, they're getting a bunch of retirement accounts, so we don't care so much about that. God, they give a lot of data. Interest earning assets grew 57% to $41 billion. That's a crazy number. All right. Herd earnings. Oh, it's on visual stocks? Awesome. Thank you for letting me know, Andrea. Let's go back here. We'll try and Since we were kind of stuck on this other one, we'll just see if we can reload here, get into Hood. So revenue growth, 36% year over year. Forward PE is 40, so it's a little rich, right? It just got a haircut today, though, so it's in the 30s now. Monthly active users in decline. We don't care about that. Assets under custody looks wicked. Again, it's that drop in revenue, I think, that people are getting hung up on. Average revenue per user still shows a nice uptick. Cash flow is negative. That sucks. But there's a cost of acquisition. It's probably fairly decently high. Hood, how long take to get back to higher price? How long will it take to get back to higher price? I don't know, man. It all depends. It could like PayPal. It could be down for days or even a couple of weeks before things pick up. It depends on what he says. Vlad can turn this around just depending upon what his forward guidance looks like. If he's got really positive things to say, it could make a major difference. Ja Kingdom's sound said Meta beat, but stock falls due to hefty spending. That sounds like Meta. What was it on? VR? Or AI? Probably AI. Just getting compute. Interest revenue breakdown. There's some cool charts on here. Trading revenue breakdown. Wow. Did we get the gold subscriber numbers? I don't know if all these are up. Let me go back here. Are we sure this is up? Did this update? Yeah, okay. Oh, just not some of the additional charts. Could you look over Meta's numbers? I don't know if they're in here, but I could check. So we got about 35 minutes until the call, guys. $200 price. I mean, maybe. I don't think Meta's updated in here yet. So I do not have good numbers for that. Let me let's look at MSTR. Let's look at the support zones and the resistance zones. Let's dial out here for both of these. Since they're getting so butchered, let's just take a look. So with you said you wanted it to go back to 200. I mean, it could theoretically, but I doubt it. Only if he's really selling. This thing's down. MicroStrategy is only down 6% now. MSTU is only down 12%. It was down almost 30% earlier. So MicroStrategy is already coming back. My guess is that we got a big dump from Michael Saylor. He announced that, like, he's probably literally purchasing more right now. And again, it could continue to dump. I will buy more MSTU though, guys. I will. I'm totally excited about. I will buy the shit out of MicroStrategy. If it dumps, I will just keep buying because I think I need something to go up. I think Tesla's going to be it. Tesla's still very strong. So hopefully that one will be able to run. Even Hood is only down 8.4% now, guys. So it's coming back. Let's check the watch list here. It looks like everything is kind of coming back. Microsoft's up 1.12. Iron's up 3.4. Why is Iron up? Who knows? Whatever. Steve Brewster, dumping hard, then recovering seems like the theme of this earnings. Doesn't it, though? It kind of does. Or, even weirder, SoFi doing really great, going up like crazy, then crashing, double-digit losses, then recovering the next day and completely erasing all losses. BTC is awfully strong under markets, so why would yeah, exactly. I don't think the only way MicroStrategy is dumping is with Michael Saylor selling it so that he can buy more Bitcoin, which he just talked about an initiative to purchase what, 42 billion in the next 3 years. That's crazy. Awesome. I probably won't go into smaller stocks right now, guys. Probably won't jump into smaller ones. I do want to see, I'm going to look real quickly at some of the deets here and see if there's anything else interesting in regard to MicroStrategy. Robinhood Markets just announced its official financial results for the third quarter. Here are the highlights. You better have some highlights Vlad. I wonder what, should we see, I want to see if Amit's sad. Let's see if Amit's sad. Amit's got to have some of this, right? He's got to have some hood. You know he's doing a live stream. Let's go crash. Let's crash Amit's live stream. Oh, is he talking to these guys? Oh, they're watching the video. Here, let's see what these guys are doing.
Allow customers to trade event contracts on the outcome of the upcoming presidential election in real time. Super exciting. There's a lot more to share. Our press release and earnings call at investors.robinhood.com. Thank you.
Okay.
Is Amit sad?
Covering a bit right here. Do I think it deserves... Okay, so let's do this question before I answer. Do you think it deserved to be down 15% at one point? It hit like $23 on these numbers.
I mean, it's down more than 15%.
I mean, I think it was just a general shock. I think, you know what? So I heard a couple things. One,
Arnie doesn't look happy
Roy
either.
and everyone talking about this. The stock is dropping off on good earnings because there's this massive base of venture capitalists that is still a part of this company. So roughly 35% of the outstanding shares is still from like C, A, and B investment rounds.
Oh.
And so these people do not want to hold
that's a decent
public
chunk.
equity, and they want to reinvest this into fast-growing companies. And so that's why we were seeing a bunch of dumping. That's not this quarter. This is going to be mainly because just people were disappointed in the stock.
Yeah.
But you could see a pullback because potentially maybe there's some part of that where there is, older style investors that maybe just don't want to be holding Robinhood and we're looking for a potential bump, and 52-week highs can definitely do that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if 15% is, it's a big drawback for sure.
Yeah, it's a question. Go ahead, Arnie. Go ahead.
Yeah, why not, right?
I was thinking.
Gary Corrett, Jesse, would you trade MSTU now and after? I don't know about after hours, maybe.
I think it divides like a two.
As long as the slippage isn't too great and you don't have a large amount that you're trading, then I don't care. Let's listen to Arnie, though. I haven't talked to Arnie in ages.
Category of investors, like the short-term swing trader or like the long-term investor. And regarding on
they got
who
meta
you're
stuff
asking
here.
this question, I think you would get a different answer. Because, Tanner, you are like...
Meta looks beautiful. Beat 0.7, best guide by 2.1%, DAU estimate 1.2. Everything was a beat on Meta. Everything. Free cash flow of $11.5 billion. Whatever. Yeah, it looks pretty
like
good.
a more a swing trader with Robinhood or more a long-term investor?
All right, congrats,
Long-term.
Justin. I hope it works out.
Okay. How do you see this quarter? Does this quarter affect your thesis?
No, it just delays it, So I still believe in everything that Robinhood's doing. I need to see some cracks in terms of...
The question is there a thesis breaker in this quarter? That's the question. Is there a thesis breaker?
No.
I don't think so either. I think the drop is stupid. I mean, yes, there should be a drop on a double miss, but down 25%, I don't know if that's worth it.
And also, we're just going off numbers here. So the earnings call hasn't even happened. So
all right,
potentially they are going to address some of these deposit concerns.
I want to trash talk them. Let's see here. Let me open the panel.
What's sort of the reason for the drawback in deposits versus the massive spike that we were expecting? Correct. So I'm going to have a better answer after the earnings call, but we're dealing with like half information here. But I really do have to run. I'm doing my own thing. But
all right, thank you for joining, man. Appreciate it.
Seriously though, message me if you have questions about Vlad.
I think you can close the vote.
Put it through to him.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
See you, Tanner. Bye. Okay, so we got the call in 20 minutes. Maybe we take a little break from Hood. We'll get back to it on the earnings call.
There you go. Sup, bitches.
Let's get a couple updates from Microsoft and Meta,
I put
and
bitches
then
in here?
figure out what the hell Michael Saylor's doing with Microstrategy. This guy is going to be the richest guy in the world or something. All right.
Okay, we want to go back to Steve Kovac for more details on Microsoft. Steve.
Yeah, Morgan, we got some cloud growth numbers here and AI data. First, let me give you Azure cloud growth. That's 33% versus the 29.4% expected.
15
a little
months.
Wonkiness in here because
How nice am I?
did
15 months
change its reporting structure. So I don't feel super comfortable comparing that rate growth to a year ago. But then again, still beating expectations.
27 minutes.
And then as far as AI growth within that Azure number, 12 percentage points of that is coming directly from AI. That number continues to grow as well. That is a really important number to see how much AI is contributing to the Azure growth. Guys, I'll send things back over to you.
Okay, Steve, thank you. We've got Meta earnings out as well as we stick with the Mag 7 here. Julia Borsten.
I'm just trashing the party.
Julia.
Morgan, Meta beating on the top and bottom line.
It's like you spelled my name wrong.
$40.6 billion ahead of analyst expectations.
Capital War by Michael Howell. Isn't that a good one?
The high end of the range that the company gave. Now, earnings per share of $6.03 were well ahead of analyst consensus expectations of $5.25 per share. Meta's daily active people, 3.29 billion. That is up 5%. There's also a hair lower than expectations of 3.31 billion. Now, in terms of guidance, Meta guiding between 40.
I'm gonna just silence these guys. Let's go over here. I think they're sad. They look sad. Let's see if a bit says anything.
46.3 billion. Now, for fiscal 2024, total expense
I'm sorry,
guidance,
are you asking
Meta
book
bringing down the top
yes,
end
I like
of its range.
Capital War.
Now the range is between $96 and $98 billion, down from the prior $96 to $99 billion range.
I love Elon Musk's autobiography. I love The Bitcoin Standard, Soft War, Broken Money by Lynn Alden, The Fourth Turning. I don't know. There's a bunch of good books. I got to probably update my list here soon. I will work on it, I promise. All right, let's get out of their party. Kind of boring anyway. Oh, let's take a look at where we're at. So we got 25 minutes until the call. That's going to be the most interesting part. Let's see what Coinbase. We got Brian Armstrong talking. Let me just back up here. I want to hear him. Wow, he's talking. All right, here we go. Let's listen to Brian. I'm an audiobook. Thanks, Dave Trader. I try to be. Oh, man, I've been listening to Blank List. I love that so much. I got 2 books out of the way today on my hike in the trail. It's awesome. No news on MSFT Bitcoin strategy. I haven't heard anything. Let me see. I'll take a look.
Welcome back to Overtime. Shares of Coinbase under pressure after Q3 numbers came out just moments ago. Shares are down about 4% right now, but join us in an exclusive interview before the call. Coinbase co-founder and CEO Brian Armstrong. Brian, it's great to have you on the show. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Morgan.
All right, so I do want to talk about the quarter because trading volumes fell, though, a little bit better than street expectations. Transaction volumes down 27%. What got my attention particularly here is subscription and services revenue, which was also down 7%, largely due to lower average crypto asset prices. I'm honing in on that because I know that's an area where you're focusing a lot of time and attention as the company looks to build beyond and expand beyond simply just trading activity. So what are you seeing there?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely correct. Our subscription and services revenue has been a way for us to diversify away from transaction fees, which are purely market dependent. It's hard for us to predict what the next quarter of volatility is going to look like, just like it's hard to predict what the S&P 500 is going to do next quarter. Subscription and services still is somewhat market dependent, but it's less so. It's allowed us to make our business a lot more predictable. And I have to say, things are going well in that department. Our subscription and services are on pace to surpass $2 billion in revenue this year. That's up from about $1.4 billion last year. So otherwise, we had a positive quarter, seventh consecutive quarter of positive adjusted EBITDA, our 4th consecutive quarter of positive net income. So even though the market conditions were a little bit weaker, which is not in our control, I think we've still managed to have a pretty good quarter.
Brian, good to see you again. Give me an update, if you will, about the derivatives platform.
I have not heard of that
trending.
disease, Kodak.
Yeah, well, the derivatives space is really important in crypto. Actually, about 75% of all trading volume in crypto is happening in derivatives now. The take rate or the fees on it are lower than in the spot, but it is the majority of volume. And so we made a big push this year to launch our international derivatives exchange. We also launched a U.S. futures market here in a regulated and trusted way. And when we go talk to the big parties out there that do trading in the derivative space, they all say, we're looking for a trusted, compliant counterparty to do this aspect of our business. And Coinbase consistently comes up as the trusted brand that they want to work with. So we've made a big effort this year, not just launching it, but we've got a lot of new order books live. We're building the features that our customers want around, such as a
Looking for
unified
anything on Microsoft
margin,
about their Bitcoin.
some things like that.
I think
that
we'll
are
find out
helping
in the
them
call.
get off the ground. So it's still early days on derivatives, but we've made a dent in it. And I think 2025 will probably really hit our stride on the derivative space.
What's interesting to me about your shareholder letter, we're less than a week away from the election. We know crypto is on the ballot. And you call it out here in your shareholder letter and in earnings, and you basically say that this will be the next major milestone in your ongoing work to drive regulatory clarity.
Coinbase has pretty bad hidden fees, and then at the same time, you've got Hood. Hood has a decent amount of hidden fees too. They just pay for they get you get paid for order flow, so that's kind of messed up too. They all kind of do.
For crypto. So how are you gaming out election outcomes, and what would you like to see from a regulatory standpoint?
Yeah, well, I'm really proud of where we are from a regulatory point of view as compared to just, say, a year or two ago when I feel like the crypto industry was under siege and there was just a handful of folks in D.C. that were really trying to attack the industry. Today, it couldn't be more different. Both presidential candidates are courting the crypto voter. There's about 355 candidates running for federal office in Congress and other areas that have gotten an A or a B score on standwithcrypto.org. They've actually filled out their position, made it known to the voters. So no matter what happens in this election, it's going to be the most pro-crypto Congress that we've ever had. And I think that just means that the U.S. is more likely to get legislation passed that will allow this industry to flourish, allow investors and consumers to be protected in the United States. And that's really what Coinbase has been advocating for many, many years now. So, it's actually something that we're really proud to have supported these organizations like standwithcrypto.org and Fairshake, which ended up being the largest bipartisan PAC in this election. So I think the crypto voter is really playing a massive role in this election, and we'll get our final results here in a few days.
How much of this hinges on the makeup of Congress versus the outcome for the executive branch? I know you took to X earlier this week and basically said the SEC owes apology to all Americans.
Well, I think regardless of...
All right, I'm a little bored with what he's talking about. Silo said, Blank List, is that a book summary service? Yeah, essentially. They summarize books into short, 12, 20, 30-minute bits where they talk about each chapter, and then they summarize kind of the overarching theme that you're supposed to get from the book too at the end of it. It's a great way to figure out what, just to learn new things, and then also... if you're interested in one, you can always explore the audiobook and then go deeper. But it's a great way to just get through a ton of different topics and learn something. And I love it. Monster Wig said, yeah, I don't get why so many like Coinbase. Agree, fees are the only reason I use Coinbase is because it's publicly traded and it's been pretty scrutinized by the SEC and there isn't a lot to worry about. I actually loved Jesse Powell. I never really used Kraken, but it's probably a better service. I don't know what all they have, though, what the liquidity looks like. But Jim, Carvana, wow, what an explosive chart. Did we cover this stock? No, I don't really. I think Carvana is just going to be potentially a disaster. I don't know. I got to think about how the used car market does in the days ahead. I don't know. It's not going to help companies that are building new vehicles. They're screwed. We got about 17 minutes before we get the earnings call for Hood.
Of who's elected president here, I suspect the executive branch won't be the blocker to getting.
Yeah, Amid said Coin is the most secure and it's audited, and yeah, they definitely are probably good for custody, and they've got a lot of scrutiny behind them.
Legislation passed. The House already passed bipartisan legislation earlier this year with Fit 21. The Senate is now debating that. I think the Senate is really the key next step. We've heard from folks in potential future executive branches. I don't think either of them would veto legislation if it got through the Senate with bipartisan support. So we're hoping that happens here in the lame duck or maybe early next year. But to your question about the SEC, yeah, I mean, I'm not holding my breath on an apology, but I do think it depends who becomes the next SEC chair, and I think it would be an interesting moment of leadership if they did say, look, we didn't make it clear what the rules were in the past, that harmed consumers. We've seen a loss of trust in the SEC as an institution, along with many other institutions in our society. By the way, if you look at the polls, and I think to start to rebuild that trust, we do need to get to a place where the rules are clear, and then business can operate here in the United States. This kind of regulation by enforcement
MicroStrategy is doing better. They're recovering pretty good.
Harmful to the United States.
And of course, you're engaged in this legal fight with the SEC, which has alleged that your exchange is engaged in unregistered sales of securities. Bitcoin, though, flirting with record highs, and I do want to get your sense of what's propelling that, where we go from here, and how to think about Bitcoin versus maybe some of the other cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, for example, that are starting to get more attention again as well.
Yeah. Well, you're right. Bitcoin is flirting with an all-time high. We've seen incredible inflows from the ETFs that were approved earlier this year. That was actually a very positive step toward regulatory clarity, I have to say, just to give credit where credit's due. And so, I expect that to continue. And there could be a bit of a trade happening around people's expectations around the election and opportunities for more regulatory clarity on that front. But you're right, stablecoins is another huge development that I think maybe is underappreciated right now. Last year, there was about $10 trillion of stablecoin volume, which was a massive number. And actually, year to date, 2024, it's already doubled that. It's about 20 trillion so far. And so this is being driven by a couple of building blocks that have fallen into place in the last few quarters.
What's Bitcoin
Just
doing?
having a scalable layer 2 solution like Base has made every transaction faster and cheaper. You can now send payments under 1 second and 1 cent anywhere in the world.
That's probably going to help
with these stablecoins on
MSTR.
layer 2. And then having a trusted stablecoin like USDC has been another major component. That's grown quite a bit year to date. I think it was the fastest growing
look at that
major US-backed stablecoin in the world.
That's a nice recovery.
Year. So they're both very positive developments on the utility front as crypto is starting to power more payments, not just being trading as an asset class.
Okay, I feel like we've been talking about that possibility for a while. So watch how all of this evolves from here. Brian Armstrong of Coinbase, thanks for joining us.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Time for a CNBC News update with Leslie Picker. Leslie.
Hey, John. Sam Bankman-Fried's former deputy will avoid prison time for his USDA said today.
Nobody cares about work.
And you do have the mega cap leadership kind of resetting and coming back to the pack over this period of time. What was July 10th?
Yeah, it's the new Cliff Notes. It's really great.
The NASDAQ 100?
I love being able to cover content in like 15, 30 minutes and then be able to go like, oh, hey, that's actually pretty fascinating. Let me do a deeper dive. I'll buy the audiobook and then look at it later. It's just a great way to get through a bunch of different things and then figure out which one you want to focus energy on. And I love that. I love that level of efficiency. Silas, yeah, to decide which whole books to read or get an audio. Exactly. Yeah. It just helps filter.
A very, very friendly June CPI report that really cleared the way for the idea that the Fed was going to be allowed to cut rates into a still sturdy.
We got about 13 minutes, 12 minutes almost, and then we'll have the earnings call.
Economy that helped the rest of the market. Now take a look here.
Yeah, maybe Sailor's buying. Dude,
Alphabet.
JD, you're probably not wrong at all. Look at this. So MicroStrategy price crashes right down here, right? Selling a bunch, dumping it all. And then Blink list. I think it used to just all be called Blink, but it's called Blink List. You can get an app for it. It's really great. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, Bitcoin's totally taking off. So you can see it says read, listen. I'll just do allow cookies. But it's got a bunch of different topics that you can go through. 34 million downloads on all platforms, 4.8 stars, 10 years of experience. You can pick topics. You can look for specific books. And you can listen to these things in very short periods of time, and they're all summarized. I just think they do an amazing job. It's really a great tool. Really a great tool. Bitcoin is going up, yo. It is going up. That's beautiful. Love that.
And obviously, impact of a credit-strained consumer.
Consumers
don't care about DoorDash. Oh, well, credit.
In terms of user growth, you see that in terms of ordering.
He can't trade on earnings day. I mean, that's probably true. There's probably a blackout window. That is true, but somebody's buying. Somebody's buying today.
We've added more selection and we're making the product more affordable. One such example
Maybe they
is
sold
we offer
earlier
SNAP benefits to
and they're
over
buying
15,000
Bitcoin today.
grocery
He can
stores,
certainly buy
because we want
Bitcoin
to drive
any day he
affordability
wants.
on the platform, which is ultimately driving the consumer strength that you're seeing on the business.
Morgan, DoorDash
there's
also
definitely a pop in
delivering
Bitcoin,
Halloween costumes now this season from Spirit Halloween stores and other local merchants. So not just food.
Interesting. That would have been very helpful with the makeup that I just had delivered to my house earlier today for tomorrow. All right, great stuff. Well, coming up, Carvana driving higher, Teladoc ringing up big returns in overtime. We're going to break down those results next.
And later, famed pollster Nate Silver on whether he thinks Kamala Harris or Donald Trump will win the White House with just under a week to go until the election. We'll be right back.
All right, 10 minutes, guys. Let me mute here. I'm going to bring this way down. Yeah, we're getting a pump in Bitcoin for sure. Look at this, $72,745. This is not bad. This is not bad. Everything that we were losing earlier today is up. Yeah, maybe sold MSTR and bought Bitcoin. Very possible. Either way, it's a good thing to see. It's a good thing to see the strength. It's probably helping. Yeah, look at MSTR. Look at how much better it is. You guys who bought the dip in after hours did really good today, because we're down 3.4% on MicroStrategy right now. MSTU is down 6%. That's not bad at all. CleanSpark's up 1% now. Let's sort here. So BITX is up 2.53, Iron's up 1, CleanSpark's up 1, Microsoft's up almost 1%, Mara's up 0.5%, Google's up 0.32, PayPal's flat, Tesla up down 0.14%. So I mean, that's been pretty flat on the day. Hood down 8.1, Riot down almost 9 now. So Waymo trained a new model called Emma without LiDAR. More proof of Tesla FSD. That's so funny. That's so funny. They're just going to end up copying them. Mobry Capital. Sorry I missed the name of the app you used for auto summary book. Blink List. It is right over. Well, I'm going to put it somewhere. Where did I put it? Right here. This is it. So you can just pick a whole bunch of categories and look at it. You can look up specific books. You can see how they have everything. It's just a really quick, productive way to be like, oh, that book sounds kind of interesting. Maybe I'll get the full thing on Audible or buy the physical copy if I'm really interested. Mike Shoemate, I was so nervous jumping into MSTU during the big dump after hours, but I just remembered what you said. We're going to make so much money. Please, the hoodie's going. Paul Hoger, Sailor, basically 42 billion pre-order on Bitcoin, right? The smart people see it that way, Paul. Mobry Capital, awesome. Cheers. You're welcome. Tech YYZ, how bad did Riot miss? I don't know. I mean, evidently a decent amount. I'm honestly kind of enamored by how well Bitcoin is doing right now. That's stealing a lot of the thunder for me right now. We got about 8 minutes until earnings with Robinhood. Let's see if we can see what Riot had done. We can take a look and see if it's. I'm not sure if that one's going to be updated. It's probably not as big a volume. Riot 500 cash secured puts on Riot locked and loaded. I'm like 90% positive these will print. Cash secured puts. Cool. Riot will not meet its previous stated exahash goal by the end of the year. Ouch. That's probably hurting them. Worst management in the entire industry, never on schedule, not even scheduled, released the day before.
Morgan, it is the earnings report of the hour, because when you look at shares of Carvana, you know why the stock is up more than 20%, easily blowing past analyst expectations, earning 64 cents a share.
Jesus.
The street was at 25 cents. Revenue better than expected. Then the numbers within the numbers, well above expectations. EBITDA margin of 11.7%. Gross profit per vehicle, $7,427, well above what analysts were expecting. Auto sales up 34% compared to the same quarter last year. The guidance, they now expect fourth quarter auto sales sequentially to be at a higher growth rate than they were in the third quarter, so greater than 34%. The adjusted EBITDA guidance is going to be at the high end of the previous guidance of $1 to $1.2 billion. Don't miss tomorrow on Money Movers. We will be talking first on CNBC with Ernie Garcia,
I might
CEO
actually
of
listen to
Carvana.
that.
Just
I'm
for a
super
point of
curious
reference,
about
guys,
Carvana.
you have to go back to December of 21. Last time that Carvana was
That is
trading
just not
above
when I would expect to be doing
$250
well
a share.
right now.
Guys, back to you.
Well, it's certainly carving a nice
Robert,
path
congrats.
higher here in overtime.
Up 82%
Phil, thanks.
after
Also
hours.
higher Teladoc on
Bitcoin
earnings.
going to
Bertha Coombs has the
73,000.
numbers.
People
Bertha.
realizing
Hey,
that
John,
pre-order of
yeah,
Bitcoin
big
is
beat for
online.
Teladoc, posting a
Going
smaller
crazy.
loss of
I
19
agree.
cents a share in the bottom line. That's 9 cents better than
So
consensus.
Teladoc's,
Well, revenues
but
also came
Teladoc's
in
big
better.
thing, we didn't lose as much money. Let's look at Bitcoin again. Still 72,776. So, wow, that is so impressive, guys. We are not far from the all-time highs on Bitcoin's price action. Like, not far. We came so close the other day. We really need to get over 74. If we do that, it's like game over, man. 7K in profit, perfect vehicle. Yeah, wow. 72.8 in Bitcoin. So this is gonna, it's so wild. Let's look at MSTR again. How did we do on MSTR? So Riot is down 6.2%. Hood is down now less than 8%. MSTU is only down 6.5% because MicroStrategy is only down 3.5%. So that's quite the recovery. Coin's only down 2%. Meta's down 2.34% on great earnings. I guess people just don't like their expenses. They don't like them investing in VR stuff all the time and probably AI equipment. We're at 72,830 now, guys. 840. Bitcoin is going up. Bitcoin might just save us all. Might just save everybody today. Hood is down only 7.27%. Wow. What a crazy day. 4 minutes and we get the earnings call. Yeah, isn't this just nuts? Isn't it so crazy, guys? Look at this down in the bottom corner. Look at this. We had Hood. Look at the variance in Hood. It's made up like 60% of its drop. It's in the 26 range. It was down to almost 22s, $23. So it's $3.20 higher than it was at the bottom. Palantir falling. Jesse, you considering transitioning your ARKG position to some of these other opportunities? No. No, I'll be buying more ARKG too. You need a drink, Bigfoot? Crypto? Is that a good thing? Let's see, Palantir falling. How far is Palantir falling? Oh, 3% after hours. Ouch. God, Palantir is getting smacked. Hey, at least I was right about that one. God, Arnie's got to not be super happy right now. Joseph says, what about AMD's nuts? Really appreciated that the first time and the second time. Bigfoot Crypto's head is spinning. I don't blame you, bro. So yeah, look at this. So we're getting a pretty clear rejection, I think, off of Palantir. That's probably only going to get worse. Yeah. Probably. All right, we got 3 minutes. Let me see if this music is playing. What is that? The music's getting weirder. 7,000 per car is what Derek and Megan said about Carvana. That's a lot of profit. I just can't imagine there being that much in the way of sales from the used car market. And how are they pulling off that margin? That's weird. Oh, dude, I haven't heard anything about Microsoft yet saying that it's probably going to be in their call. They'll release like the results of the vote, I would assume. I don't know if we'll get it today. I'm assuming we would, but I never really follow Microsoft's calls, so I don't know. God, more polling data just shows Trump crushing it. Wow, Palantir's down 3.5. Arnie's going to cry. Should we see? Let's go take a look and see how Amit and Arnie are holding up. Arnie just left. Arnie's like, fuck this. He's out. So Amit's just running the show on his own. He's got his eyebrows are up really high too. Usually not a good sign. See when they do that thing, when they go like this. It's not a happy Amit. Robinhood only down less than 7% now. What a crazy day, guys. What a crazy day.
Please wait. The conference will begin shortly.
Conference. I'll bring this over real quick. We'll let that play when it plays. I still can't believe what a weird day. That's all right though. This honestly, guys, even the economic data, everything, we're ready for launch. We're just trying to get past the technicality now, which is Trump winning the White House. If they win, if Republicans win the White House, we're down less than 6.5% now on a Robinhood, guys. How weird is that? With pre-market, or with the day being up 0.64%, we're really down 6% on the day. That's just nuts to me. Just nuts. Now Palantir's only down 2%. Market is just chopping, guys. Oh, Iron up almost 2%. Mara up 1.6. CleanSpark up 0.5. What's a good short? I think Carvana might be a good short in the future. I don't believe the profit either. It doesn't make any sense to me, dude. There's some weird accounting going on. Bitcoin almost up to 72.9, getting real close, guys. I know, right? Gotta love that. That's just helping. That's going to help the narrative so much, because you look at the crypto revenues for Robinhood and they're low, right? But you throw in Bitcoin getting ready to take off and break new all-time highs, and shitcoins getting ready to go with it, and it changes that narrative pretty quickly for next quarter. Replacements for the hurricane. That's a fascinating comment. Huh. That's actually a really fascinating comment. You got Florida, you got North Carolina, you got a bunch, like the whole Southeast. Huh. Carvana's a shit show. I agree, Prabhat. They won't even check while buying a car if there's really a problem underneath. I believe it. Oh, here we go, guys.
Thank you for standing by. My name is Catherine, and I will be your conference operator today.
It's Catherine.
At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Robinhood third quarter 2024 earnings conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remark, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press star 1 again.
Is it a cry
We
fest?
ask that you please limit your questions to 1
Just Amit
and
alone.
enter the queue
Just
for
Amit
any
alone.
additional questions that you may have.
Should be like,
Thank
hey, buddy,
you.
how you doing? He looks so
I
concerned.
will now like to turn the call over to Chris Cagle, Vice President of Corporate FP&A and Investor
All right, here we go.
Relations. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Catherine, and thank you to everyone for joining Robinhood's Q3 earnings call. With us today are CEO and co-founder Vlad Tenev and CFO Jason Warnick. Before getting started, I want to remind you that today's call will contain forward-looking statements. Actual results could differ materially from our expectations, and we have no duty to provide updates unless legally required.
Okay.
Potential risk factors that could cause differences, including regulatory developments that we continue to monitor, are described in the press release we issued today.
Carvana equals
presentation, and our
SMCI
SEC
100,
filings,
JD.
all of which can be found at investors.robinhood.com. Today's discussion will also include
I might
non-GAAP
short that
financial
bitch
measures.
just for a hedge.
Reconciliations to the GAAP measures we consider most comparable can be found in the earnings presentation. With that, let me turn it over to Vlad.
Thanks, Chris.
Vlad.
Hi, everyone.
Why'd you screw
Let
us?
me start by reiterating Robinhood's 3 areas of focus. Number 1, winning the active trader market. Number 2, increasing wallet share with our customers. And number 3, expanding internationally. In Q3, we continued to make progress on all of these fronts. In fact, our results after the first 3 quarters of the year have already broken through a number of full-year records. And we have another quarter in front of us to take these results even higher. Just to share a few examples. First, Q3 net deposits were $10 billion or more for the 3rd straight quarter as we continue to increase wallet share. This brings us to $34 billion year to date, above our 2020 record of $31 billion, and also takes our customer assets under custody to a record high of $152 billion. Second, Q3 options contracts were up 47% year over year to a new record as we keep winning with active traders. This brings our year-to-date total to 1.2 billion contracts, edging out our full-year high from 2021. And third, Q3 was another strong financial quarter with our second highest revenues ever. Revenues grew 36% year over year. Adjusted EBITDA increased 96% from a year ago. Looking year to date, revenues of nearly $2 billion have already broken last year's record of $1.9 billion, and GAAP diluted EPS of 55 cents is multiples of any prior year. It's energizing to see our business performing well like this, but we're even more excited about our product roadmap. A key part of increasing wallet share with customers is growing Robinhood Gold subscriptions.
I hate it when they say the same shit that's already on the slide.
Which hit an all-time high of 2.2 million in Q3. And one of the most exciting new parts of the Gold program is our Robinhood Gold Card. When I've talked to Robinhood customers in recent months, the Gold Card almost always comes up. If someone has it, they love it. If they don't have it, they want to know when they're going to get it. And I hear you. We're working hard to increase the rollout, but we're also being patient and carefully studying customer behavior as we grow so that we manage credit risk to profitably scale over time. While it's still early, I wanted to share some emerging data from our 100,000 Gold Card customers. First, customers love the Gold Card. App Store ratings continue to be 5 out of 5 with over 10,000 5-star reviews.
That's wonderful. Can you give me mine?
Customers tell us they love the metal card, the digital app, and of course the 3% rewards. Second, the early customer behavior is in line with our expectations. It looks like the Gold Card is top of wallet for most customers, and early data shows that we're retaining approximately 95% of Gold Card customers following their first transaction. We're also starting to see customers.
I'm sorry, James from Invest Answers used your chart in today's video. What chart?
Spending grow and loan balances revolve as expected. Third, Gold Card customers are also contributing meaningfully higher net deposits versus similar customers. It's great to see the early additional benefits to the platform. All in all, while it's still quite early, we're further increasing confidence that we can scale the Gold Card significantly over time. Now let me turn it over to Jason to review our financial results, and then I'll offer some additional thoughts.
Thanks, Vlad, and thanks everyone for joining us today. In Q3, we had another strong quarter, growing revenues 36% and driving 77% incremental adjusted EBITDA margins versus a year ago.
Stock Gamblers Degenerate Trader says the rug pull on MicroStrategy will be so quick that most retail will not be able to react on their massive losses. You sound like an idiot. Bye.
Q3 business results also set a number of new highs, including assets under custody, options contracts, cash sweep balances, and retirement AUC, as well as multi-year highs for equity volumes and margin balances. And as we enter 2024 focused on driving another year of profitable growth, we're excited that we've already broken records for full-year revenue, adjusted EBITDA, and earnings per share. Looking at the progress we made in Q3 versus a year ago, assets under custody grew 76% to a record $152 billion. Net deposits were $10 billion plus for the 3rd straight quarter and $39 billion over the past year. This translates to annualized net deposit growth rates of 29% in Q3 and 45% over the past year. Total net revenues grew 36% to $637 million. Adjusted EBITDA nearly doubled to $268 million. Adjusted EBITDA margins expanded by 13 points to 42%, and net income grew to $150 million, or 17 cents per share. This was reduced by 1 cent for a regulatory accrual in the quarter. We're pleased with these results, which mark our 4th straight quarter of GAAP profitability and 9th straight quarter of positive adjusted EBITDA. Now let's look more closely at Q3 revenues, which increased year over year across all 3 categories. Transaction-based revenues grew 72% as we drove higher volumes and market share gains across all trading products. It was great to see option, equity, and crypto volumes up 47%, 65%, and over 100% from a year ago, respectively. Net interest revenues increased 9% as we grew interest-earning assets.
I do want to say one thing real quick that's awesome about Robinhood is just looking at what they've done this year. So July, Robinhood announces acquisition of Pluto, AI investment research platform. July, introducing joint investing accounts at Robinhood. September, stock lending available in UK. October, Robinhood crypto launches crypto transfers in Europe. Robinhood in October too. Robinhood retirement reaches 10 billion in assets under custody. October, Robinhood Legend is pushed out. Futures at Robinhood are now available. Index options are available, and we had margin launched in options trading approved in the UK, and introducing presidential election markets. It's all kind of cool, really. Honestly, they're doing a great job growing. I think the thesis is still very much intact. But where's my fucking gold card, Vlad? Yes, exactly.
And securities lending activity improved. This included customers growing their cash sweep balances 80% year over year, and margin balances building to a 2-year high.
I mean, I just moved $400,000. I think their 4th quarter is going to look sweet as far as assets under management.
Lastly, other revenues grew by 42% as we added over 850,000 gold subscribers in the past year to reach a...
Yeah. So Prabhat said actual Robinhood gold card is for people who refer 10 people, and those 10 people use Robinhood as gold members. Yes, that's right. That is correct. But I'm supposed to be getting one. So where is it?
Record 2.2 million subscribers and record annualized recurring gold subscription revenue of over $110 million. I'd also note that our Q3 revenues include the impact of contra revenues from amortizing matches on customer deposits and transfers. Q3 contra revenues were $27 million, up $14 million sequentially.
I'm sorry, these guys should be using their slide deck in the presentation. This is not hard stuff, guys. Please to God, somebody help these guys. You literally have a presentation here. Why are you not going through it and showing it?
Mostly driven by the 1% gold deposit boost. We expect contra revenues to grow sequentially by a similar amount in Q4 and then grow much slower in 2025. To provide some more context, customers love the matches we provide on asset transfers and IRA contributions, and we're seeing great payback periods on these matches. At the same time, the 1% gold deposit boost has not driven as much incremental customer activity as our other promotions. So we've decided to wind it down in November to focus on offers that resonate more with customers. As an example, we doubled down recently for our Hood Week promotion by offering a range of matches on asset transfers. And in just 2 weeks, this led to $2 billion of transfers in from brokerage incumbents that averaged over $130,000 per customer. Stepping back, when we reflect on our revenue so far this year, it feels good that our last 3 quarters are the 3 highest in company history. Turning to Q3 expenses, we had another good quarter of expense discipline. Combined adjusted OPEX and SBC was $476 million in Q3, in the middle of our 24 outlook range on a quarterly basis. Looking ahead to Q4, we're pleased that we're still on track for our full-year outlook range of
this call is doing nothing to help the stock.
1.85 to 1.95
Thank you, Bain, for joining.
Of adjusted OPEX and SBC, even while driving nearly 40% year-over-year revenue growth for the first 3 quarters of the year. We anticipate we'll likely finish near the top end of that range, given our continued growth investments to finish the year strong. Turning to capital management, we started our $1 billion share repurchase program in July. We allocated $97 million to repurchase 5 million shares in Q3 and made good initial progress on our expected 2 to 3 year total timeline. We love deploying capital like this. It lowers our share count and positions us to increase EPS and free cash flow per share over time. And when we look at last year's share repurchase, plus the start of our new program, we've deployed over $700 million to repurchase approximately 60 million of our shares, equivalent to about 7% of our current diluted count. And we're continuing to repurchase shares daily in Q4. Before passing it back to Vlad,
I saw that, Bain.
I'd like to comment on the strong momentum we are seeing so far in October. Net deposits are north of $4 billion, and cash sweep balances are more than $25 billion. As for trading, equity notional volumes highest month in over 3 years. Option contracts look to be one of the highest months ever, and crypto notional volumes are over $5 billion, on track to exceed the Q3 monthly average. I'd also highlight that our crypto rebates have increased to 48 basis points in October, relative to our 44 basis point average in Q3 and 35 basis points at the start.
Whoa, what happened?
The year strong.
Oh, there we go.
Longer term, we're energized by the progress we're making and believe we are well positioned to drive higher earnings and free cash flow per share over time, driven by our 20% plus net deposit growth, diversified business model, and 90% fixed cost base. With that, I'll turn the call back to Vlad.
Thanks, Jason. Now I want to highlight our progress on the first part of our strategy, winning with active traders. 2 weeks ago, we held our inaugural Summit in Miami. It was really awesome to have over 400 active trader customers together for a few days, and we introduced 3 exciting new products. First, we announced index options, which are one of the fastest growing retail products and make up nearly 10% of U.S. retail options contracts. Our customers have been trading them on other platforms to date, so they're excited to bring their...
Yeah, investors hate these kind of conference calls because they don't, again, they're not doing the slide deck during it. They're not saying anything different than what's in there. It's very boring.
Trades to Robinhood and leverage our industry-leading pricing, and we're excited to expand our addressable market. Second, we announced futures. Here, we're not only offering industry-leading pricing, but also a great customer experience with our awesome futures ladder. We continue to believe that futures can be a 9-figure revenue business for us over time.
Cool.
Also, building out the infrastructure behind futures has also enabled us to offer event contracts, including our new presidential election market that we launched. It was great to see customers quickly engage with this new product, trading over 10 million contracts in the first full day.
It's as bad as Starbucks.
To more than double that today. Third, we launched Robinhood Legend, our new state-of-the-art desktop platform, which we built from the bottom up for active traders. It's clear from customer feedback that Legend is really resonating, so we're doubling down in this new domain.
Ligola, I feel you. This call is pretty fucking boring. We'll see if he actually does. The Q&A is probably our only hope.
The team is hard at work to rapidly ship more functionality for customers. As additional context, while we are number 1 in mobile trading, that's only half the retail trading market today. The other half is on web, where we haven't meaningfully competed in the past. So launching Legend is doubling our addressable market. We have a lot of momentum in our active trader offering as we close out the year. As I said earlier, Q3 option volumes were up 47% year over year to a new record. In Q3 equity volume.
He totally is probably a vampire. I agree. There's like a 90% chance that he's a vampire.
Volumes also increased, up 65% year over year to a 3-year high. And this is even before the full rollout of index options, futures, and Robinhood Legend. In closing, We had another strong quarter in Q3, and you should know our team continues to work incredibly hard to deliver even more value to our customers.
Amit still looks concerned.
The roadmap is full. There's so much to do, and we're excited to share a lot more with you at our Investor Day in December. Now, let's move to questions.
Thank you, Vlad. For the Q&A session, we'll start by answering the top few shareholder questions from Say Technologies, ranked by number of votes.
All right.
We passed over questions that we already addressed on this
Hopefully
call
this is
or
better.
prior quarters, and grouped together questions that shared a common theme.
Is it? Amit looks so sad. I feel
We'll
bad.
turn to live questions from our analysts. So I'll kick it off with our first
watch him
question
some
from Say, which is for Vlad.
Look at him.
Vlad,
Like,
when will the Robinhood Gold Card be available to all
Yes.
users?
When is
Thank
Jesse
you for the question. I think that
getting
the
his
first
gold
thing I want to say is we've really been humbled by the demand we've seen so far for the Gold credit card. The wait list is close to 2 million, and so far we've rolled it out to about 100,000 customers. And I think if you compare this to how other successful credit card programs that are new have scaled, that's a pretty quick ramp. But of course, we also recognize it's small compared to the wait list. The wait list, frankly, exceeded our expectations, and we're working as hard as we can to get it out as quickly as we can. But it's also important for us to make sure we don't incur significant near-term losses. So we have to understand the customer behavior and the economics.
They've never done credit cards before.
The credit card business can get quite big, and also if we're not careful, that could mean losses. So as I mentioned earlier, we like the behavior we're seeing, and if the behavior we're seeing continues in this way, over the next year we expect to roll the card out to multiples of where we are today.
Right. Thank you, Vlad. The next question is also for you, and it asks, are there any plans to introduce a way to send or receive money to other Robinhood users via the Robinhood ecosystem?
Yeah, we've actually experimented with this in the past when we rolled out Robinhood Spending and the Robinhood Cash Card a couple of years ago. Now, right now the focus is really on the credit card offering. We're seeing amazing feedback and strong demand for that. So we're focusing on making sure we scale that. But we do anticipate growing our offerings so that anything that you can do on another consumer finance app or product can be done on Robinhood as well. So this is certainly something that we're thinking about.
All right. The third question is also on Robinhood Gold. So rate cuts make Robinhood Gold worse each time. How will Gold continue to add value to users, and what new benefits is Robinhood planning to add for Gold users? Also for Vlad.
I mean, it's not that bad.
The strategy with Gold is to deliver an offering that provides customers with exceptional value in every market environment, regardless of whether the rates are increasing or decreasing. You should be able to get tremendous value from Robinhood Gold. Now, some of the value props naturally do well in an increasing rate environment. Cash sweep with high APY is one of them. Other products tend to be more attractive in declining rate environments. And as a matter of fact, at Hood Summit, we recently announced that Gold customers will receive differentiated, better pricing on a few of the products we announced. So the pricing, while industry leading across the board, is even better on index options and futures for our Gold subscribers. So
that's a good answer.
While rates on sweeps may be coming down because of Fed cuts, we're going to keep investing in Gold. And for every new product we launch, we ask ourselves, how can we make it even better for our Gold subscribers? And as you see, as we continue to roll out new products, Gold should get even better and better.
Great. Thank you, Vlad.
That makes sense.
The last question's for you, Jason. Jason, can you describe the plans for the live tax gain and loss monitoring that you're rolling out?
Sure. There's a couple things I'd highlight on tax management. First of all, we recognize it's really important for customers. Just yesterday, we announced a realized P&L tool shipped. So that one's live for customers now. And we also know that tax lot selection in the app is important for customers, and I'm excited to tell you that we have employee beta testing going on right now for tax lots, and the team is pushing hard to get it in the hands of customers really soon.
We think it's really good. Yeah, I think you're going to like it.
All right. That concludes our shareholder questions from Say Technologies. We appreciate our shareholders taking the time to ask these questions of Vlad and Jason, and look forward to more next quarter. So now I'll turn the call over to Catherine to lead Q&A from our analysts.
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We ask that you please limit your questions to 1 and re-enter the queue for any additional questions you may have. Your first question comes from the line of Craig Siegenthaler with Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. First, we want to congratulate you on the Legend launch. And I saw there were, I think, 1,000 signups in the first 40 seconds, Vlad, post the launch. But what is the level of signups to date? And how many of them are incremental signups to the 24.4 million accounts that are Robinhood as of September 30th?
Yeah, I mean, we are still, the product is not quite ungated in the sense that anyone can just access it. So we've been rolling out to multiples of that number, but haven't yet sort of like opened it up to everyone. Early feedback is extremely positive. I mean, I don't know, you guys probably see the level of live streamers and folks on social media has been tremendous. And the team is, I'd say, even more motivated to keep the momentum and make sure the product is better and better, because we really feel like we've got something great here.
I'm going to fall asleep. Come on, guys. Speed it up. What happened? Why is it quiet? What just happened?
Our next question comes from the line of Dan Dolev with Mizuho. Please go ahead.
Hey, Vlad. Hey, guys. Great results again. Very proud of you.
Thanks, Dan.
Very intrigued. You got it. Yeah.
Somebody asked if I would buy more calls. I don't know. I already have a lot, and they're up a lot. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm probably more interested in MSTU right now, honestly, than I am Hood. So we'll see.
Of course. Well deserved. I was very intrigued with the presidential.
It's like watching paint dry. Yes.
And I wanted
so I think I'm falling asleep.
A lot of press, and
if I fall asleep, wake me up, guys.
On it. So can you give us some color on how it's doing? You know, how creative it is to overall retention, and anything you can tell us about it would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. So first off, we just rolled out to 100% of customers after starting the rollout just this Monday. So huge kudos to the team for that. The path to offer this product was paved really less than 30 days ago, and we really moved quickly to make it available to customers ahead of the election.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to switch to a completely different call. Plus, I don't even know what the Microstrategy call is going to tell me. I mean, what am I going to gain from that? It looks like the headline is all that matters.
To do that, our approach is that if you're an active trader, using Robinhood should put you in a position, you should really associate Robinhood with being at the forefront of technology and innovation and trading. And I think offering products like these, which you can't really find at many of our competitors, is the best way to do that. So feedback is really, really good. You can see on social that it's resonating with customers very, very clearly. But we rolled out to 100% right before the call started. So I think it's a little bit early to tell, to give you too much. Other than, yesterday we did about 10 million contracts. That was pre-full rollout. And we've done even more than that already today.
Your next
we can take the next one.
Yep.
So bad.
Okay. Your next question comes from the line of Patrick Moley with Piper Sandler. Please go ahead.
Piper Sandler, not Sandler's.
Yes, good afternoon. Thanks for taking the question. I just had one on index options and futures trading. Now that you've announced the pricing on those products, I was hoping you could help us better understand the economics there. I know index options carry a relatively high exchange fee. So what do your margins look like in offering those contracts? How much do you expect to make per contract? And then maybe as part of that, your expectation for how much volume is going to come from gold versus non-gold members. And then if I could add a follow-on modeling question, it looks like your equity fee capture declined by about 20% sequentially. So any color there on what drove that would be helpful. Thanks.
Sure, Patrick. I'll go ahead and take both of those. This is Jason. Kind of just going index options first, the non-gold price will be kind of industry leading at 50 cents per contract, and the gold price will be even better at 35 cents per contract. You know, cash settled index options, as you know, is a really fast growing segment within options. And so we see this as a big opportunity for us to take market share even faster. You know, as context, we have been taking, you know, double-digit market share for some time now, and that's without having this hotter segment offer. Also on fees, like exchange fees, we'll be passing those through to the customers. On futures, non-gold, 75 cents per contract, and gold gets an even better deal at 50 cents per contract. We've said that futures over time, based on volumes we've seen at our competitors, we think it could be a 9-figure business for us. So big opportunity for us. The second part of your question was equity take rates. You know, there's really two things that affect our take rate on equity. The first is volatility, and the second is mix. And what we saw in the quarter was just customers buying more kind of larger, more liquid names.
Oh, they managed this call so badly.
Your next question comes from the line of Brian Bedell with Deutsche Bank. Please go ahead.
Great. Good evening, folks. Thanks for taking my question. Maybe just on the cadence of customer pickup as we move into 4Q, just on futures and index contracts in terms of what portion of the user base have you rolled the futures out to so far, and what are the rough plans in doing that for the rest of the quarter, and then same on the index options timing of when you expect to roll out that. And if I could just sneak one more in on desktop users, good to hear the great feedback. Any observation yet on increased velocity from the folks that are using it so far?
Yeah, I would say that the folks that use the Robinhood Legend product tend to be among our most active. So the velocity is quite high. That being said, you know, we rolled it out to 1,000 people during the Robinhood Legend keynote, and it was the first 1,000 people that sort of like signed into their Robinhood accounts on desktop. And I think we filled the 1,000 slots in 45 seconds. So those customers were very keen and engaged to try the product. Early feedback is very positive, and I think it's really important to establish a great reputation among active traders because they're networked in a way. They talk to each other, they listen to other active traders, and what we've been seeing is really positive signs from the community about Robinhood Legend. But that said, it's not rolled out fully yet, so we don't have like the perfect picture of what it's going to look like at 100%. But so far, we really like what we're seeing.
Timing on futures and index options.
Yeah, timing on index options and futures. So the first Robinhood derivatives product that rolled out is our presidential election market. Futures outrights will probably be rolled out in the coming months, but right now the focus of the futures business is really in just making sure everything goes as smoothly as possible for the election next week, and then of course rolling out outrights is a top priority. Index options as well coming in the coming months.
Your next question comes from the line of Devin Ryan with Citizens JMP. Please go ahead.
Great. Hi, Vlad. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Yeah, true, Theo.
Great. Want to ask a question just on interest rate sensitivity. So, obviously we saw the first 50 basis points in Fed cuts. Yeah. Last quarter, I think you talked about 25 basis points as a $40 million impact. And that was just essentially the simple math off of balances at the time, and didn't take into consideration potential for accelerating margin utilization or higher sec lending activity or higher transaction activity, which often happens as rates come down. So just love to get a sense of whether you're seeing or expecting to see kind of an acceleration in margin, how you would frame the upside in sec lending. It seems like we're operating at a depressed level. Do you see a lot of upside in a more normal environment? And then are there any other kind of offsetting forces just we should be thinking about, beyond just the simple math of a rate times the balance? Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. And the rate times the balance again this quarter would be roughly 40 million for each rate cut. On margin, we've been seeing really nice growth in margin balances following the reduction of rates for customers. That's continued into October, so that's been moving up. We'll share that number with you here in a couple of weeks. In terms of sec lending, a couple of dynamics going on there. First, on just the business inputs themselves, we had about 400,000 additional customers join the program this year, and several billion in equities added to the program, which is great for the long-term viability of that program. At the same time, we saw rates on specials that we get, hard to borrows, come down a bit versus Q2, and I think that's really what you're seeing. But in terms of the underlying business drivers, we feel really good about that. And then lastly, we've talked about for some time about how we think we have a naturally hedged business model that as rates come down, we see interest rates turn into a tailwind for the business around growth. I think you've already started to see some of that with the trading activity. Options at an all-time high in Q3, equities hitting a multi-year high. So I'm feeling even more confident about the tailwinds that come from falling rates, and we'll just have to see how it plays out from here.
Your next question comes from the line of Benjamin Budish with Barclays. Please go ahead.
I'm going to fall asleep. These guys better speed this up. Come on, guys.
You
Barclays.
might be on mute, Benjamin.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
Hi, sorry, this is Ben. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hey, sorry about that. I had the phone stuck on mute. Well, thank you for taking the question. I was wondering if you could talk kind of generally about your path to product kind of innovation and launch. It looks like with the active trader offering, the credit card, you're being very kind of cautious and measured in terms of the rollout. How should we read that into future product development? I think we're all expecting a lot to be announced at the December Investor Day. You've talked about broader ambitions in crypto, global kind of brokerage offerings. So yeah, could you talk about sort of your approach to like product velocity and how we should think about the pace of rollout for current and future product launches? Thank you.
All right. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think that it really depends on the product we're talking about. For example, just this week with presidential election market, we started the rollout on Monday and completed it on Wednesday, which is very quick, particularly for a new product. Credit card is a little bit of a different animal. Nothing technological is preventing us from rolling that out. It's just really looking at other successful credit card programs in the past and making sure that, with a wait list of 2 million customers, that business could get quite big. But if we don't manage it carefully, like losses could get big as well. So to avoid that, we want to make sure we prudently scale it. And so far, we've onboarded about 100,000 customers who love it, and early signs are good. And that's roughly in line with how fast other successful card programs have scaled in kind of like the first year of operations. So that one, it's just us making sure that we're understanding customer behavior, understanding credit, since that's a new business for us, and we're feeling good. But yeah, we recognize the demand is extreme, so we're working to onboard people as quickly as possible, and we expect to get to multiples of our current level over the next year.
Your next question comes from the line of John Todaro with Needham & Company. Please go ahead.
Hey, Vlad, Jason, thanks for taking the question. I guess just going back to the futures index offering, any expenses down the road that we should be thinking about increasing on the back of that? I don't recall if we got to kind of that margin of where it should shake out. And then also just what drove the crypto rebate higher to 48 basis points?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take both of those. So first on the crypto rebates, we've been experimenting for some time on crypto rebates, and we've been seeing the rebate rate come up. We always want to have great prices for customers, but also balance the return that we generate for shareholders on that activity. And so we started the year about 35 basis points, and we've seen it move up, including in October, where we're running at 48 basis points. In terms of futures and index options, those products really benefit from the broader kind of technology structure that we have at the company. We have a roughly 90% fixed cost base and relatively low variable costs, and futures and index options benefit from that as well, which leads to really high incremental margins as we grow those businesses.
Your next question comes from the line of Steven Chubak with Wolf Advisor. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Steven.
So I wanted to start. Hey, I want to start off with a question on actually a chart that you had included in a recent presentation deck, just showing the strong relationship between revenues and AUC. It's been a persistent trend over the last few quarters. I mean, in this particular quarter, we did see some decoupling amid some of the rate cuts and subdued trading activity. And we're just hoping you could speak to your confidence level that that relationship should ultimately still hold, even amid the impact of further rate cuts from the Fed.
Good call.
Yeah, I feel really good about that relationship, Stephen. I mean, one way to think about it is just bridging revenue from Q2 to Q3. There's really two things that distinguish our second quarter and our third quarter. The first is in the second quarter, we have seasonally high proxy revenue. That was about $30 million, and you saw that reduction in Q3 as we moved past that seasonal quarter. The second bridge item from Q2 to Q3 is the contra revenues on the match promotions. And in the quarter, we saw a step up to $27 million. That was an increase of about $14 million in contra revenues versus Q2, and I think that's showing up in the relationship that you're drawing to AUC. Importantly, most of the incremental $14 million related to the 1% boost on gold deposits, and that's something that we're winding down in November. So as we look forward to Q4, we expect Q4 to step up contra revenues in a similar amount that we saw from Q2 to Q3, but then subside and grow at a slower rate. Zooming out, feel really good longer term, about the core business.
So we might have more pain in Q4.
Your next question comes from the line of Andrew Steen with FT Partners. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking the question. Just wondering, could you discuss the deposit trends for some of the recent promotional offers, and then what's your strategy for deposit bonuses going forward? Thank you.
Yeah, we love the matches on deposits. We've seen customers really respond to it. From a finance perspective, we track the behavior of the cohorts and dollars that come in, and we've seen, like for example, the 2023 match promotions have already paid off. The payback periods are around 1 year for 1% and kind of in the 2 to 3 year zone, trending more towards 3 years.
2023 is already paid off.
So we feel really good about that. It's our third straight quarter of $10 billion plus in net deposits from our customers, and continuing with the longer-term trend of 20% plus growth. The Hood Week promotions that we did brought in $2 billion. So that was a 2-week promotion, and really strong response from customers. And in addition to the relatively quick payback periods, we just love the potential for compounding effects for the business over time.
Your last question comes from the line of Ken Worthington with JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Hi, this is Madeline Delyden on for Ken. Thanks for taking our question. You discussed it a bit already, but we wanted to dig a little more into the strategy around the election-related event contracts. So could you walk us through your ultimate decision to list these event contracts, how they fit into the product roadmap, and ultimately is Robinhood considering getting bigger into these more betting-type products? Thank you.
Yeah, I'd say overall, as a philosophy, we want to make all product categories available for customers over time, particularly for active traders. We want Robinhood to be associated with sort of being at the frontier of innovation and technology in financial services. So if you look specifically at these event contracts, they're regulated swaps markets that really serve as legitimate hedging instruments for large institutions. And we believe that if any tool or any instrument is available for institutions, then we have to make it available for retail as well. I think a nice other secondary impact is it provides people with a reliable data source about where where people predict the market will land.
This concludes our Q&A session. I will now turn the call back over to Vlad Tenev, Chairman and CEO, for closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone for listening, and to our institutional and retail analysts for continuing to engage. And really a special thank you to all the folks on social media who've been posting content and streaming using Robinhood Legend and sharing feedback. We really appreciate it.
Is that it?
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's call. Thank you all for joining. You may now disconnect.
All right, that was a pretty lame call.
Please wait. The conference will begin shortly.
I'm not going to lie. That was a pretty lame call. So it sounds like to me that some of the costs that they've had to bear that caused their revenue to be, I don't know if it's the revenue, but gave them additional costs from buying down basically, these 3% offers that they're pushing for gold subscribers to move IRAs and 2% for non-IRA, investment accounts. It sounds like they took a little bit of hit in Q3 for that, and it sounds like they're going to take a further hit in Q4. But that 2023, these offers that they did, they're already basically paying out now in 2024. So it sounds like this should all be beneficial heading into next year to me. But I don't know if Q4 is going to look a lot better. So I'm probably not super interested in buying Robinhood right away. I do believe that the stock is still going to ride along with Bitcoin, but I probably won't buy more calls right now. I'll probably just kind of sit on the ones I have, see how badly they get brutalized tomorrow with the 35 strikes. So it could be down at 20% something day. You're right. The call was horrible. I don't like the way it's managed at all. They don't do a good job with presentation. They should be sitting in a room, do something like Palantir where you're hanging out. Just a really painful call. But anyway, so I think I'm good. I think I'm just going to, I don't want to do any more after this, guys. That was disappointing at best. So I think I'm going to call it. Let's look at Amit. Let's see how sad Amit is. He's talking it up because Vlad's his buddy. All right, I think I'm good, though. So if you want to see more about the Robinhood call, go hang out with Amit. Otherwise, I'm just going to sign off because I'm tired. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning, and we'll see how our economic data does. Peace out. Bye.